Bookending that 8-hour show with some Highdeology love. Because that's how we do. That's how I do, anyway. That's how Paul's ego do. Hold on, I gotta put that on the other side. This phone is driving me nuts. Just please, just prop up there and stay there. For the love of Pete. It's no longer salty Paul, it's spammy Paul. Oh, that was tough. Yo, I watched the whole thing. Hey, that's cool, man. That's okay. It'll be up soon for consumption, and I think we're gonna clip it up too. Then release it in bite-sized chunks for those of you that don't want to dig through 8 hours. We're like that. We go for that. We go for that, you know, ease of use, ease of access. Oh, it's already up. That's nice. It's already there for you guys then. Isn't that great? Oh, YouTube actually handled that way better. You got to give YouTube props when it deserves it. You know, an 8-hour stream back in the day was a dicey proposition. You know, you didn't really want to be doing it. You wanted to break it up into 2 4-hour streams or something. No limericks. I don't want any limericks. Get out of here, asbestos fingers. No. Boo. I'm dead serious, man. I don't even like limericks anymore. I'm not impressed by them. Only the last 4 hours. Oh, okay. So it's doing its old shenanigans. It'll take a while, but it'll be there. Don't worry. YouTube just takes time to process it and shit. And then, like I said, we're gonna clip it up later this week and start releasing it that way. So, hey Paul, great show. Thank you guys for all your hard work. Got to catch a whole lot of it. Anyways, later, brother. Hey, dude, the oratorical. One of the bros that came out to see us in Gadsden, the Big Chief. One of the coolest guys there too. Had a cool mustache, and he was already wrenched before then. So you know, that's good people. I think it's the only wrench I've ever met, if I'm not mistaken, other than the obvious ones. I think TJ's a wrench in here. Ashley's a wrench, obviously. I've met those. I'm talking about like my designated wrenches. Were you there too, Otello? Is that true? Did you tell me that you were a wrench? Come to Australia someday, Paul. One of these days maybe. We'll see. We'll see what happens. What would Absolute Sober Paul be like? You guys have seen Absolute Sober Paul. You guys have seen it. Like, contrary to popular belief, I'm not always unsober. Just usually. You guys have gotten many a glimpse of totally sober Paul. Yeah, at the meetup. Or whenever meetup. Have I met you? Have we met? Oh, okay. Like in person? Have I slapped you the daps? Ever had a point in your life where you had no one to go to except a fat guy on the internet? Yeah, dude. A bunch of times. The guy that I used to go to, the fat guy on the internet I used to go to when I felt like that was www.thekidfrombrooklyn.com. You can still find his videos out there. Sadly, he passed away, so he's not making any new content. But yeah, the kid from Brooklyn used to be my fat internet guide. So, you know, he would rant and rave, and he always made sense. Why do people like Joe Biden? I don't think they do, honestly. I've never met somebody that does. So I'm going to go ahead and go with my theory here that nobody actually likes Joe Biden. The Tyson handshake. Yeah, man, that was uncomfortable. Did you get to the part where I teach TJ how to do it too? Because I'm actually real good at that. I'm good at handshakes and shit. Like, I can do it real quick, and I can usually size up what kind of handshake somebody's going to go in for. And, you know, I know how to do the typical dap handshake. You know, the pound and shit, if you want to do that too. That's an older one, but some people still want that. They want the dap, dap, dap. Joe Biden even a real person? I don't know. My girlfriend and her entire family likes Joe Biden. New York people are like that. I guess that makes sense. I guess he's like more of a local politician. Or what is it? No, no, isn't he from Boston or some shit? Is he a New Yorker? I don't even know. That doesn't make any sense. Why would they want that? What's wrong with you, New Yorkers? Going for 12 hours of streaming? Nah. This is probably going to be a quick one. I'm carpooling with Ashley, so she's off work here pretty soon. So she's going to come pick me up. And it's not going to be a typically long Highdeology. Probably. It might be, I don't know. It might be a while before she's here. Anyway. Anyway. You like R&B music? If you do, who are your faves? I got into R&B like in the early 90s. One of the first album I ever owned, like the first CD well, it wasn't even a CD, it was a tape. First tape I ever owned was Belle Biv DeVoe. And that whatever album Poison was on, I had that album. I did listen to some earlier rhythm and blues stuff. A lot of disco, which falls squarely under the umbrella of R&B. My mom was into a lot of 60s protest rock and disco, so I got exposed to a lot of that stuff. I don't know. Specific R&B acts that I like now, there aren't many. Commodores, Earth, Wind, and Fire. Yeah, I like all that stuff. I kind of put that stuff under the blanket of disco, even though it's not really. It has some elements of disco, that Baroque stuff. So for me, it's all kind of classified similarly. But that's just the ease of being able to classify the decade of the 70s pretty easily, You tell me why I was put in timeout when I barely chat. I have no fucking idea, dude. Why don't cry about it or I'll time you out again. My mom loved the Grateful Dead and Fish. Now she loves house music and old school hip hop. That's cool. Mom's got eclectic tastes, at least. At least she didn't stay one of those like jam rockers forever. I'm sure she still appreciates that, but those jam rock people that all they do is listen to like Fish and Grateful Dead and other inscrutable jam rock bands. I mean, I'm not trying to shit talk. Grateful Dead had some bangers, and I'm sure Fish had a song or two that I would listen to, but overall, I've had so many really bad, pretentious conversations about Fish with fans of that band that I kind of always wanted to go to a Fish concert, but just because they're legendary for being huge drug buffets. Like, you go there, and in the parking lot, tons of people are just taking every sort of psychedelic and every sort of fucking inebriant that they can get their hands on. Because the whole idea is to be as fucked up as possible while Fish just jams for like 4.5 hours. So I think it'd be cool to maybe go to a Fish concert, but I really don't give a fuck about Fish. Same thing goes for the Dead. Sorry. Never been a big guy. Never been a big Grateful Dead guy. Tool legitimately performed 2 new songs recently. Yeah, I checked out one of them last night. I was curious, and I checked out one of them. And I like what I hear. I want to hear a non-live version. I want to hear the studio version, obviously. And I want to hear it as part of the album. See, part of my life philosophy now is I don't get hyped for shit until they exist. And I really do pretty well at that. I will allow myself to be hyped for like a movie sometimes, or a song, or an album coming out. But for the most part, I reserve my hype until something is actually out there and it exists and I can go watch it, because it's been so rumored for so long that Tool's about to drop an album. And while it was nice to get a peek at their creative process, I don't think that my hype machine is re-engaged yet. I want to see that whole album. I want a release date on that album. I want to see some art. I want to hear some cuts from that album. I want to hear a single off of that album. And I want to know that album is coming. And then I'll get hyped. Till then, hype sets you up for disappointment. You're absolutely right. Especially nowadays when like the hot to the presses mentality of the entertainment press sets you up for a ton of things that you end up just being fucking disappointed about. Like as soon as they hear even the insinuation of a rumor of something going on in Hollywood or the music industry, they run with it. And so often it just turns out to turn into nothing. You know, that's why I'm like so cautious about the. We covered recently Quentin Tarantino, the possibility of him doing a Star Trek movie. And while I find that idea to be incredibly exciting, until there's a deal signed and there's money being thrown at it, and we got a cast list and we got some dailies and we got some shots from it and we got a teaser trailer, I'm not going to allow myself to be hyped about it. Because I just know, like, and a lot of that too is not really the fault of Hollywood. It's the fault of, like I said, the entertainment press and the press in general, who tend to run with these. Like Hollywood is a constant, as I understand it, it's like a constant weird ballet of interest and disinterest in products. If you want to watch a documentary, if you're like me and you like documentaries and you haven't seen this before, and I know I've probably pimped it on this show before too, but I'll pimp it again here real quick. There's a really great documentary about how Hollywood chews people up and spits them out, especially those that come into it with any kind of hubris. There's a documentary called Overnight, and you can find it online if you want, or you can, I think, order it on Amazon for a couple of bucks or something. Don't be a cheap bastard. Overnight is about Sean Duffy, who was the guy who wrote and directed The Boondock Saints, which is actually a decent movie. It's not the best movie I've ever seen, but it's a cult classic film. It actually ended up getting a lot of recognition after the fact. But Sean Duffy was supposed to be a name that, when I say his name, you're supposed to know who he is. He was set up as Hollywood's new golden boy, as he describes it in the documentary, Hollywood's new hard-on. And he was a very, very cocky, self-sure guy that really didn't have the chops of a lot of director-writers. You know, he was a nobody. He just kind of lucked out and got his script in front of the right eyes, and Harvey Weinstein ended up with a copy of it, and Harvey really liked it and went and met him and promised him this big golden deal, and he got all crazy with it, and then he slowly but surely found out that interest waxes and wanes in Hollywood. And Harvey, I guess, after spending some time with the script and probably hearing reports of people that worked with him that were having to work with Sean Duffy about what an asshole he was, Harvey probably said, you know what, fuck it, let's just can this script. And that's exactly what happened. So he went from being on top of the world, being on the front of Entertainment Weekly as Hollywood's new golden boy, and how Harvey Weinstein had given him this historic deal to not only to purchase the film, but to allow Sean Duffy, an unproven, non-film student, the opportunity to direct his own film was just huge news. And it just... And there was a music deal involved, too. It's been a while since I watched Overnight, but Sean Duffy was a member of this band called The Brood. And he got this simultaneous deal with DreamWorks, who was, I think, a subsidiary of... whatever the Weinstein Company was part of at that time. And so he got this simultaneous movie/recording deal for his band to do the whole soundtrack for Boondock Saints. And that fell apart as well. And he ended up self-producing the movie. And once again, there's a little bit of retribution in the story of Sean Duffy that doesn't show in the movie, because the movie was made and released before, Boondock Saints really started to get ahead of steam. Lol, I just looked up Troy Duffy on YouTube, and one of the first videos is titled "Fucked Troy Duffy" with an Asian in the thumbnail. Wow. Cool. Would you let Quentin Tarantino kiss your feet to be in a movie? Would I let him kiss my feet? Yeah. Sure. Why not? I'll let him worship my calloused up, old, nasty, fucking, craggly looking fat dude feet if he wants. If that's what he's into. Gorilla versus pack of wolves. I mean, we've already done. We're not doing any more gorilla versus. Gorilla has literally beaten everything in the fucking universe at this point. So you know what the answer to that is. Gorilla wins. That's always the answer. That's the one law that is completely not in dispute. That's the one truth that you can know. Gorilla always wins. Always. And forever will. Gorilla beat God. Gorilla beat Godzilla. Gorilla beat, I don't know, man. Gorillas beat some absurd shit. A rhino, you know, every beast of the field and the savannah and the mountain, Gorilla has faced off against. He beat Boba Fett. There's no way. There's just no way, man. The gorilla wins. He doesn't lose. He doesn't know how to lose. If I ever had a job I felt I couldn't escape from, no. I mean, I guess I'll qualify that. I felt at times in certain jobs the fear of like, wow, I hope I don't do this for the rest of my life. But it was always that. It was never like, this is all I will ever do. Like, I've always known when I've hated a job that I might work this job for a long time and it might pay the bills and I might have fun on this job's dime or whatever, but I'm not staying at this job. Can Gorilla beat Popeye after he eats spinach? I think you know the answer to that. Favorite episode of Kenny versus Spinny? That's so tough, man. I've seen them all and I love them all. I'm gonna go with, it's so hard to whittle it down. The one where they don't use their arms is actually a surprisingly funny one. Because I really love how Kenny wins in that one. He straps a midget to his chest to be his arms, and then he grabs Kenny's prize guitar and makes him catch it. So that was a pretty brilliant one. I like the one where the first one to be mean. Or no. The first one, that one's fun too. They're all fun. I like the one where the first one to laugh loses, because it is a rare example of when the tables are turned on Kenny. And watching him squirm for once was actually way more fun than I thought it would be. You know, because usually Kenny's got one over on Spinny for the whole episode. Spinny doesn't know it. He's just the hapless dupe, the unwitting retard that goes along with whatever, you know. Kenny's the Pied Piper. He described himself as the Pied Piper, you know, leading Kenny wherever he wants to go. But in that episode, Kenny truly has the disadvantage because he has a really immature sense of humor. And it's pretty easy to make him laugh, and Kenny doesn't ever laugh. You know, Kenny doesn't like to laugh. So probably one of those. I mean, there's so many great ones. I love them all. I love the one where they have to take care of the fake babies. Like, who's the best parent, and they go to like those parenting classes where they give you like the robot baby that you have to burp and like feed every couple hours, and it wakes you up at night and you got to get it up and rock it and burp it again and change its diapers and shit. There's like a computer inside that keeps track of how well you do. And Kenny just like horribly abuses his child, kills it, you know, like completely, like doesn't even bother taking care of it, pulls the vocal cords out of it and unhooks that, you know, temporarily, and just leaves it there to die. And then the night before they go to end the competition, he takes all the guts out of his baby and switches it with Kenny's while he's asleep. And so it looks like Kenny was horribly abusive to his child, even though Kenny, the dumbass that he is, spent the whole week toddling after this fake baby. It's just a great show. Yeah, he beat a rhino, dude. Gorilla doesn't fuck around. And he's retired now because he doesn't have anything to prove. Or am I still streaming? I'm just waiting for Ashley to come pick me up. It's, you know, it is what it is, dude. She's gonna come snatch me up. We're gonna go grab something to eat, and I'm gonna go home and go to bed, probably. Maybe I'll watch a movie or something and go to bed. I've always wanted to make an amazing movie about Native Americans that truly does people justice. A movie that drives into the lore and culture and make a story. Yeah, that would be cool. I mean, there have been some interesting looks at the lifestyle of Native Americans, but you're probably right. There have been some really incisive looks by modern actual Native Americans that grew up on reservations. I'm trying to remember the name of a movie. It was actually a decent movie, but the name of it escapes me now. It's about two dudes that have lived on the reservation their whole life, and they run away, basically. They decide they're going to leave. I think they have to leave the reservation to go do something for a family member, and they end up, you know, confronting the world outside. Smoke signals, is that it? That might be it. Yeah, you might be right about that. I think Joanne is actually right, dude. Good digging. That's why I like this audience, man. But we really haven't gotten like a really good historical look, have we? That isn't exploitative or doesn't add some Western misconception about Indian life. Like you could say something like Dances with Wolves, where we get an intimate look at some things that made up Indian life. That movie is not completely historically inaccurate, nor is it inaccurate in portraying some of the ways that the Indians live and deal with one another and speak and all of that. But overall, it appends a bunch of craziness onto, you know, onto the, the Indian lifestyle and stuff. Aren't reservations like Indian reparations? Kind of, sort of. I mean, not even really. It was a way to just basically ensure the death of those people and assure the death of any seditious acts that they would do. We give them a plot of land, we surround them with federal troops, and we say, hey, we did you a favor. You used to have your run of this entire continent, but now you got this little plot of land that's named after you. Now you all go there. So I don't know if it was actually reparations, but yeah, that's how it was looked at. It was like, we do basically genocided your entire people and anybody that looked like them and destroyed your way of life forever and always. Here's a plot of land for you to live on, and it's all yours. And by all yours, we mean unless you do something that fucks with us, in which case we come and take it. So no, I wouldn't say it's actual reparations. Do you personally notice any negative effects of smoking weed? Yeah, of course. I've talked so much about it, I'm not going to go into it here. Suffice it to say that there are negatives to any type of substance that you put in your body that's meant to change your perception on things, or anything that you have to inhale the smoke of. It's going to have pretty obvious negative repercussions that any adult would know without having to ask me about it. They even took their kids and gave them English names. Yeah, oh yeah. I mean, it was like, obviously, just like forced integration, and those of you that don't want to integrate and still feel salty about having your land taken from you, which it has already been, then hey, here's your own land. Here's your own, several thousand acres where you and your people can go and live in trailers and squalor and drink beer. I'm new to your streams, not sure what you've covered. Don't worry about it. You can go back and watch what you missed later or not. It doesn't matter. This is always a rambling conversation. That's what we do here. We ramble. We let the conversation kind of carry itself. So I feel like there's a mustache hair that's growing right up into my nose. Can you please? Wild mustache. Okay, that's better. But I had to literally comb my mustache down with my fingers to get my nose to stop tickling. Isn't that great? Reservations were a way to pretend we kept a deal to let them have some land, but every time settlers wanted to go somewhere, the reservations were moved. Check reservations to see where no one... Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, a lot of that has happened. They settled a lot of these tribes in the deserts and places where they felt like nobody would want to go. And then if the civilization did encroach on that, then they just got uprooted and moved again. It was all just a PR stunt, basically. I mean, if you want to be honest about it, it was just a big United States PR stunt where nobody could really answer for the amount of pain and suffering that we'd inflicted on the Native Americans, and nobody could account for the intense amount of money that we would owe them or reparations that we would owe their surviving members. So we just came up with something that looked good on the face of it. Hey, those Injuns got a place to live. We gave them a whole plot of land down there in Arizona. What do they got to bitch about? My favorite word? I don't know that I have one, man. I remember in one of your old videos, damn, it's a long one. Talk about how much you hate advertisements and how you wouldn't be a YouTube partner because of it. Have your views on advertising changed since then? I mean, they kind of have had to. I had to, kind of walk over those principles to do this job. And, I was speaking from a position as a guy that did one YouTube video every 8 months as a hobby. And I think I had the arrogance to presume that everybody else was doing that as well, and that the people that were putting ads on their videos were just needlessly monetizing something that should be done in their free time. And that's really how I felt about it at the time. My views on that have clearly changed. Um, Not necessarily in terms of the content of ads and how I feel insulted by the content of ads, but really, I guess my scruples that precluded me from taking their dumbass money and putting it in my pocket so I can keep, building an audience have changed. Um, I think the worst part of the U.S.'s Holocaust of Native Americans is how it receives little to no coverage in education. Yeah, very little. Usually it's very, like, not only does it not covered, but it's glossed over in a very, like, insulting way. We've come up with our own, like, noble savage myth that we portray onto them, and we talk about how noble their warriors were and how strong their tribes were, but we don't talk about why they're not anymore. The Pilgrims and Indians had turkey and danced around. Yeah, Pilgrims showed up and they were truly scared because they were on this new place and they were all starving and hungry. The Indians showed up with a big old turkey and some stuffing and some mashed potatoes with the gravy. They had brown and white gravy there, green bean casserole, some pumpkin pies, some Cool Whip and stuff. And they just sat down with the Indians, and the Indians were like, "White man, pale face, we not know whether you going to destroy us. We not know from whence you come. But we share our position, we share our food, and we expose ourselves to your obviously superior military technology for no reason." And the Pilgrims were like, "Oh, gee whiz there, weird little brown man wearing a loincloth. It's so good of you to share your turkey. And what you say this was?" "That is mashed potato and gravy." "Mashed potatoes and gravy? I've never tasted anything so delicious in my life. What are these strange circular dishes over here?" "Those pumpkin pie." "Pumpkin pies? Well, I've never eaten a pumpkin in my entire life. I carve 'em up for jack-o'-lanterns, round hole hollows even, of course." "Red man no make jack-o'-lantern. Red man no, red man make pie. Delicious pie." "Pie, you say? I'll try a slice." "You want 'em cool?" Expected spam call. Great. Gotta love it, dude. Did they refer to themselves as Red Man? I don't think so, no. I'm pretty sure they didn't. I'm pretty sure that's something that we called them. "Smoke 'em peace pipe." Nice spam call, dude. I can't believe I missed an 8-hour show. Well, whatever, dude. Some people gotta work, you know? Method Man do not accept those terms. Uh-oh. Dude, there's nothing wrong with McDonald's. Don't worry about learning how to cook, man. Don't listen to all these haters that say you shouldn't eat McDonald's. Just enjoy your life. Dude, would you rather be a dude that stuffed his face with delicious, disgusting fast food for like 35, 40, maybe 45 years if you're lucky, and died a happy smile on your face, covered in chicken grease and barbecue sauce and stuff? Or do you want to be like a fucking 80-year-old dude that eats fucking, I don't know, unsalted peas and, one little piece of rye toast every day and maybe a boiled egg if he's celebrating, and just hates his fucking life, you know what I mean? I mean, come on, buddy. You gotta make your fucking decisions about which path through life you're gonna go. Do you want to be an old curmudgeon that just eats a boiled egg every day and never once indulged in the pleasures of life? Or do you want to be a middle-aged, young middle-aged heart attack victim that it just had so many fucking delicious fast food greaseball meals that you can't even count them, man? Your life was just filled with the wonderful, comforting pleasure of going to fucking McDonald's and getting an orange soda and an extra large fry and a giant fucking Big Mac and just eating that whole shit. Life sucks anyway, so better to die earlier anyway. Hey, there you go. That's what I like to hear. I mean, I'm not saying it's better. Some people want that longevity, you know? I'm not saying that I don't. There's part of me that doesn't want to croak, you know, early in life or whatever the fuck, but I don't know. By the same token, I don't want to live a life of restraint and, you know, non indulgence and stuff because I kind of feel like I see life for what it is. It's just a big old cruelty simulation, and we're all, you know, and if it's true that we all just wink out at the end of it, then really the length of your life doesn't really matter a whit. What matters is how much fucking joy you tried to cram into it, how many times you enjoyed yourself, the little pleasures. Did you stop to smell the roses? Did you stop to eat the French fries? Now, if you want to ask me who lived a rich life, it's the man that answers no to that, no matter when he died. The man that answers yes could die at a ripe old 120 years old, and I would still feel like he lived 120 years, a century plus of emptiness, self-deprivation. And for what? The same end that I met? A heart attack, cancer, you know, something? I don't know. I don't know, man. You tell me. You tell me who's right and who's wrong there. Do you drink tap water or get filtered shit? I filter my own tap water. I got one of those Brita things, you know, where you got a pitcher and then you just fill the little top part of the pitcher and it takes out all the poop crap, and then every once in a while you got to change the filter on it. So that's how I do. I used to be fine with tap water back in the day, but I can't really do it anymore. I've never been to a place where I was like, man, the tap water, I've tried it here and it's disgusting. So I'm just like, okay, you know, I'm not going to drink that. So let's filter this. Good old Brita. The choice of a new generation. I have a reverse osmosis purifier. I had one of those in my old in my house back in Cali that I lived in before my divorce. We had a house that when we bought it, it was already rigged for that. All we had to do was purchase the unit and shit, and we were like, okay. And it was actually really cool. Like having not only that, but having like that kind of pure water just on tap for everything was really cool. Had to clean your bathrooms less because, you know, there wasn't any heavy minerals and shit in your water. It was pretty cool. Your house had a built-in filter. Just got to change the house and water filter. Yeah. I had a salt filter, so I had to add salt to it once every couple of weeks or something. Put a big-ass bag of salt in it. I don't know how they do. I'm sure there are probably other ways that they do that. Yeah, dude. Your poops fall into beautiful, clear lake water, you know? Lymphao, a salt filter, yeah, you add a bunch. Yeah, so I had a water softener unit that I had to add salt to, and then I had an RO unit under the sink that had a spout that came out the top that took that softened water and reverse osmosis filtered it. Yay! All right, that's enough of that. Enough celebratory exclamations for tonight. What I want to do is I want to eat some lasagna or something. I don't even know. I don't even know what I want. I want like spaghetti or something Italian, I guess, is where my brain is at. I don't know if that's going to be possible at this hour, but I really don't care. I'm not picky. I'll take a hamburger. And then I just want to go home and I want to sit down. I want to watch a movie and I want to go to sleep. A little pizzaed out. I had pizza, when was it? Late last week or mid last week. I'm not really feeling, I'm usually down for pizza, but I just want something else. Enchiladas, oh yeah, dude, something like that. I mean, I'd like a big old slab of fucking lasagna right now. I'm not even gonna lie to you. I'd go crazy on that right now. But I just don't know that I have any options for that. It's gonna be like 9:30 or something by the time Ashley gets here to get me. There's a crazy guy yelling in the hotel parking lot next door to my house. Should I record him? That seems mean. He's probably mentally ill. Just call the police if he looks like he's gonna hurt somebody. Don't be a douche. Don't be one of these like world star idiots. Put your phone away. Goulash. Ooh, yeah, goulash would be good. I'd eat some goulash. Some good ass chicken parmesan. Ashley's gonna make some chicken parmesan. She got all the stuff for it yesterday. I don't think she's gonna make it tonight, but I think when she's off in the middle of the week, she's gonna make it. Chicken parmesan with spaghetti. God, I can't wait for that shit. Maybe that's why I want something Italian right now, because I'm like craving that chicken parm. Pad Thai, yeah. I mean, I'd eat some. I'm not gonna turn my nose up at some pad Thai. Are we just gonna talk about food tonight? I'm fine with that. I'm fucking hungry. What are your top 3 dinner foods? Hamburgers, pizza, and probably like casseroles, if you let me lump all those together. You know, like lasagnas, enchiladas, you know, spaghetti in the pan. Dude, that's some ghetto stuff, but it's so good. Yeah, probably those for dinner. A po' boy would be probably my top lunch item. You know, I want a sandwich for lunch. Some dirty rice. Yeah. Favorite microwave food? Probably burritos. I would say like the El Monterey bean and cheese burrito is the finest microwaved item that you can eat. It's delicious, filling, is cheesy and hot and piping. It's, you know, tortilla is pleasingly chewy and a little bit crisp. And yeah, I would say that. I like to nuke a good burrito, man. The freezer burrito is really the king of frozen foods. Fried chicken, fried liver, meow mix, please deliver. I actually like microwave mac and cheese, but everyone says it sucks. I've had some microwave mac and cheese, and it's not like my favorite way to do it. Like, I'd rather make my own mac and cheese personally, but yeah, it's not bad. You can nuke some mac and cheese, and it's edible. You have to add to it though. I always had to add like a sprinkle of salt to it and a lot of pepper. You know, and maybe even if you've got it laying around, like just some extra cheese, you throw that in at the last second, make it a little cheesier. Like if you dress up microwave food, it's not bad. Well, I mean, it's bad, but it's not as bad as if you just eat it right out of the wrapper or some shit, you know. You can make it a little more edible. Think you should call the cops on that guy? Then do it. Quit talking about it on like the internet. Go talk to your neighbor, go get your mom or whatever the fuck, and if they concur, then call the cops. You're probably not the only one that's aware of what he's up to. If he's in a fucking hotel parking lot, he's probably already got the cops called on him. But, you know, do what you gotta, do what you feel is right, but quit fucking talking about it and do it one way or the other. Shut up. Bacon in your mac and cheese? Hell yes. Dude, I would destroy some bacon mac right now. I'd eat nothing but that tonight. Just a giant trough of bacon mac. I want it. I want it now. Steak and cheese microwave burritos are god. They're okay. I've had a lot of different, like the Hot Pockets one too. The Hot Pockets have a couple of different varieties. I just prefer the like classic old pepperoni pizza Hot Pocket. The cheese Hot Pocket has never been good. You know, I've had a few of those in my life, and I've always wanted to have some pepperoni in there. I think they used to do like a Philly cheesesteak Hot Pocket. Now, it doesn't taste anything like a Philly cheesesteak, but it ain't bad. It's cheese and meat in there. Unsure about Spam? Trust me. Whatever. You got to try it to know the particular disgusting nature of Spam. You've got to go try it. That's on you. All right. I think Ash